Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast covers everything tech. The hottest mobile phones, tablets, games. We review it, rate it, test it. Whether you're Microsoft or Apple, Android or iPhone, we'll give it to you again. Black and white. The Golden State Media Concepts Technology Podcast.
Hello there, everybody. This is Jay here for another episode of the GSMC Technology Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Network. So, we got a couple things to cover this episode, so let's just jump right in. So, the first one's going to be about a new app that's coming out called Byte. So, Vine, which was by Mini, a much-loved short video hosting platform that many mourn since it has been gone, is returning, kind of, sort of. So the co-creator, Dom Hoffman, announced on Twitter that its spiritual successor is set to arrive next spring 2019. There aren't many details about it yet, except Hoffman did give us a name, which is Byte, B-Y-T-E, and a logo to match. So from the sound of things, it'll operate similarly to Vine with short, looping videos. And so far, it seems like it does have a domain and a couple of, it looks like, admittedly clunky social media handles. He has for some time now been discussing launching his own successor to the service. It was initially deemed V2. He even went so far as to launch a logo for that service and detail the offering. Earlier this year, however, Hoffman announced that he would be postponing its launch. Things have gone pretty much completely silent until now. And you would be forgiven if that roller coaster did leave you skeptical about Byte's launch. You know, I never personally used Vine. I've been on it a little bit. It seemed to me kind of like a strange idea. I can't say I was ever too excited about it, nor that it made too much sense to me. But I will say a lot of people did really like it. They really enjoyed it. They went nuts over it. So, and it looks like a lot of users, you know, are kind of apprehensive about it and had hoped to see more than just a logo and a landing page before declaring Vine's successor would actually become reality. And like now, the people who wrote this little kind of like article about it did send a tweet to Hoffman and pretty much asking what, you know, progress he had made so far. And he does claim to have funding, a team, and a product. So, of course, this planned return still leaves plenty of unanswered questions about who is on the team, how this product is going to work, and where the funding comes from, the latter of which became an issue in earlier attempts to launch this same service. The Byte name, meanwhile, is borrowed from an earlier tool that was created by Hoffman in the wake of the original Vine. So, as far as I can tell, the reason this all matters at such an early stage is that Vine had incredible impact on society despite its relatively small user base. Scores of popular memes, future YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, Musical.ly, stars, and the sponsored social content craze all came out of this app. The massive outpouring of grief when Vine 1 shut down is evidence that if Byte can offer even a facsimile of this, of Vine's community vibe, the youth might flock back. An age where social media is increasingly blamed for generating envy and inauthenticity, Vine was basically just about pure entertainment. It's worth watching if it can be revived under a different name. So how do I feel about this personally? It's interesting. I remember when I saw this article, it did grip me. I'm like, oh, okay. Sounds kind of interesting. I can't really say, like I've said on previous episodes, I can't say I'm a really big like app user or per se a really big app person. But I have used some apps. You know, I use Google Maps. I've used Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. I've used Google Plus in the past, you know. But Vine was just one of those apps I never really used. To be fair, it's only in the last like year or two I really started doing more video. It's the truth. You know, on my YouTube page and on like I've used Facebook Live a bit, but that's about the extent of it. You know, I don't do a lot of video, and I personally don't like doing short videos. So the stuff I've seen on Vine is kind of weird. It is. You know, I haven't seen anything like, oh, that's really cool, or hey, that's really awesome, you know, or wow, that's really impressive. If you've been on Vine before, you might understand what I mean. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on there that's like, man, this is just kind of weird. I mean, why did people take, you know, videos of this? Why are there compilations of this? I haven't seen anything that's been really, really cool. Where, you know, on YouTube, I'll see some cool stuff once in a while. On Facebook Live, once in a while, people do some kind of cool things, little updates. So, I don't know. For me, when Vine went away, I was like, I wasn't really heartbroken. I was like, good. That's probably a good thing, you know? Like, it's probably a good idea to get rid of that, because it kind of, to me, it had kind of lost its charm and kind of lost its luster a while ago. So going away was probably the right thing to do, at least as I could see it. I'm like, you know what, just get rid of it. And I had kind of hoped that, you know, maybe something eventually would be made. And I suggest personally, with this new app, you know, try to make it better than Vine was. Because I can see where Vine had some good implications. And hey, it started some people's careers. Fine. I get that. There were some good things about it. But what I see of the remnants of it aren't good. The remnants I see, I'm like, man, this is kind of just weird. I mean, this is something that I don't know if it should have been used for these ways. So I would say definitely tighten it a little bit. Like, make sure that, hey, you know, the stuff that's going to be on there is good entertainment. Because the entertainment I've seen is not good entertainment. It's silly, kind of stupid, kind of dumb, mediocre, not even that smart entertainment. That's what I've seen anyway, mind you. That's what I've seen. I haven't seen the kind of entertainment that it's talking about, you know, here. I'm sure it existed, I just haven't seen it. So make it be like, you know, entertainment where it's like, okay, I'll let you be entertained, I get it, I might laugh, I might enjoy it, you know. And maybe it might not be a crazy idea, too, to do some original content, maybe. I don't know if Vine ever did that. I'm not sure if they did. So maybe have, like, you know, some kind of original content on there, like maybe little cartoons or little animations or stuff like that. Might not be a crazy idea. Now, again, I can't say I was a big Vine user. I just can't. I've never really used Vine at all. Not really. That's just the truth. I really haven't. So, I don't know. So, yeah, like, it gives you only a little taste of, you know, hey, there is a new app coming out. It might be similar to Vine, but like I said before, I personally hope it isn't. I hope it's better. You know, I hope it's leap and bounds better than Vine was. And kind of like, you know, might learn from some of the mistakes of Vine. Because I think Vine shut down because it just was kind of not being used, I guess, I think how they wanted to be used. At least I would imagine that might be the reason. I don't really know, personally. But it's kind of cool that, you know, he's doing this. And I hope, and it sounds like from what I read on here, maybe, you know, he's taking his time with this. He's not rushing it. He wants to make sure, hey, it's done right, not just pushed out with all these bugs and problems and issues where people are going to hate it because it's not going to do what it's supposed to do. So, you know, it sounds like he's taking his time and kind of making sure it's a good cranked out product that people will use. Not just people who remember Vine, but people who maybe never used Vine who may, you know, go, hey, you know what, I want to try this out. And if it's better than Vine, I think it might, you know, pull in some, you know, younger people and people who just haven't used it in the past or haven't used it in a while. I don't think it's been an immensely long time since Vine shut down, to my knowledge. I don't think so. I think it shut down maybe only a year or two ago, maybe a bit more. I don't know, but, you know, I haven't personally missed it. So, yeah, and definitely as more information about this comes out, I will bring that to this podcast because I think it is kind of interesting. And Apps can always usually be a good thing. They really can. They can have good parts with them. So we're going to take ourselves a short little break right now, and we'll be back in a few moments with more technology news.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Hello there, everybody. This is Jay back for some more technology news. So, if you've been listening to my episodes lately, a pattern has kind of formed, and I won't say it's been a intentional pattern, but it's kind of formed. Where if there's a 3D printer out there of some sorts, I'm gonna probably talk about it. It's just the way it is. The technology really fascinates me. As I've said in the past, it's got some really impressive implications there for how, it can, the things it could do, the possibilities. But it's also technology that really honestly is early in many ways in the early stages. It's a technology that, is usually pretty expensive. It's either a really big 5-figure machine that, does great prints, but it takes a long time to do it and it's just not in most people's budgets. Or certain places like Best Buy and some places now have started to do smaller ones, but they're still like 4 figures. They don't do big objects, and again, they're usually not in most people's budgets. So, but this one, I'll tell you right now, this 3D printer is unlike any 3D printer I've ever heard before. And this one really gripped me just because of the fact of how different it is. And I'm just going to jump right into it right now. So, this 3D printer is, designer Byrholthius is the one who made this, and has figured out that sopping wet paper is the best material for making mischief. His 3D printer, a primitive RepRap clone that literally squirts out huge lines of paper pulp, is designed to allow artists and designers to create more sustainable 3D objects. And this is according to 3dprint.com. Holthius was searching for material that wouldn't create waste or increase plastic pollution. He settled on ground-up paper. By extruding the wet paper, he is able to create a thick bead of pulp that he can then build up to create decorative objects. The design of the printed objects are using the possibilities and beauty of this technique, said Holthius. The tactile experience, bold lines, and print speed results in distinctive shapes. The objects are also durable. The printed paper is surprisingly strong. The interesting thing is that he uses natural binder to stick the layers together, ensuring that the entire system is recyclable. You could even feed paper into the machine and let it produce the pulp automatically, thereby creating a self-feeding recycling system. Best of all, however, the objects look like something a super intelligent wasp colony would produce to trade with other cultures. This is really some fascinating stuff. So there was actually a short little video with this, and what's interesting is, so most 3D printers that I have seen, they just will kind of like, you put in like a thread of some sort, maybe multicolored threads or like threads of plastic, and the printer will, feed those, that plastic through, and with the computer or cloud or whatever it is, it will eventually, make that object you've asked it to make, but it's going to take a long time. So this printer actually had almost like a garden hose. it wasn't actually a garden hose, but it was almost a garden hose, where what happens is you're able to, take it'll come out, and it was a little noisy, but it'll come out, in the design you ask it to, and it almost came out in like cylindrical shapes, almost like it was coming out in like kind of like a mountain, and just like a little like cog shape, or circular shape. And it came out really fast. It came out pretty quickly, quicker than most normal ones would. It was only about a maybe 1-2 minute video, but yeah, it was definitely very different. And I thought it was actually kind of cool how he came out, because it is true where, with most 3D printers, yeah, you're going to create, stuff made out of plastic, but there will be plastic waste in the process. And we do have the issue still, as far as I know, that there's the, big patch of plastic in the ocean still. So we don't really need to add to that any more than other generations and, we have in the past. So yeah, coming up with a way that was, environmentally friendly was kind of cool. And honestly, I don't think anyone had thought about this before he did. So that's kind of really cool on his part. That's kind of clever. And I don't think it's going to be able to make like shapes per se. Like, hey, it's going to make like, a mask or guns or, bowls or anything like that. It didn't look like it could do that. But literally, it could be used for, art to make some certain different things. And it was pretty impressive, the little shapes I saw him make. And yeah, it really does. This article is not joking. It looks like, if a really big wasp colony came along, and took all this wet paper and just put it like, that's what it looks like. It looks like, hey, and I could see them making this. So, yeah, that's the reason I had to bring this, because it's like, this is like, kind of like some previous articles I've done where it's like, hey, it might, be a new direction for 3D printing, a much more environmentally friendly form of 3D printing, and one that is definitely outside of the box. Some of the stuff I brought in the past, it's been like new programs or new ways for the things to be printed, but this is one that isn't even plastic at all. It's actually really paper. And it's like, when I heard about this, I'm like, that's really impressive. Now, one issue I had was there isn't really a name for this printing process yet, as far as I could tell. It's just like, hey, we're using, wet paper to do this, and it looked like it was mostly like construction paper, like paper pulp. And it just seems like, like maybe there should be a name to it. And this is another thing, as in kind of some of the previous 3D printing stuff I brought in here, is there needs to be a lot more research and development on this. There really does. 'Cause it's great to make little artistic pieces, but I think if you really want it to kind of take off and people really to start using it, other, things need to be discovered for it besides just that. Or like I said, maybe make like plates or bowls or cups or something like that. Maybe might not be. I don't know if cups would work, but plates and bowls might not be crazy. That might be a good idea. That might work, and that might more draw people to the possibilities of this technology. I think it really would. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of intriguing to me. But I think that definitely, like some of the previous stuff I brought in here, more research and development needs to be done. And just see, does it have to be just one kind of paper, or can it be other kinds of paper? Can you do, bigger things? Can you do smaller things? I mean, what are the other implications you could do with this product? Because it does, I wouldn't bring it on here know this. I wouldn't bring stuff like this on here if it wasn't kind of fascinating and different and unique and something that I don't think you're going to hear about every single day. But, yeah, I'm just wondering, what else could be done with this besides just, because it didn't really show much in the video. It didn't, it really didn't. So, I definitely will keep an eye on this. If I hear more about it, I will be sure to bring it to this show, because I think that, if enough, testing is done on this, let's say in the next couple of years, 5-10 years, less even maybe, there could be other, discoveries for this besides just, hey, we're taking wet paper that's, biodegradable and recyclable and making stuff out of it. It's like, that's great, but I'd love to see more what they could do in the future. So we're going to take ourselves another short little break right now, and we'll be back in a few moments with more technology news.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hello there, everybody. This is Jay, back for some more technology news. So, the last thing I'm going to bring is, I'm not really familiar with this series in the past. I got to see a little bit of this game be played at E3 this last year, and it looks kind of interesting. The graphics are really impressive. There's a lot you can do here, and this game would be Just Cause 4. So it starts off by saying, welcome to Solus, a huge South American world, home of conflict, oppression, and extreme weather conditions. It says, this game sees rogue hero Rico Rodriguez land in Solus to hunt down the truth about his past at any costs. Strap into your wingsuit, enjoy your fully customizable grappling hook, and get ready to bring the thunder. So, you're going to like skydive in this, base jump and free dive in your wingsuit. You fight under extreme weather conditions like treacherous tornadoes, tropical lightning storms, and you get to also use the extreme weather events to your advantage, which is thanks to never before seen in-game physics. So the ultimate mission of this game is to spearhead the rebellion and defeat the Black Hand, a high-tech private military organization. You face off against Gabriela Morales, your most fierce, capable, and unpredictable adversary yet. You also uncover the truth of Rico's father's past life on Solus and its extreme weather. It says there's a huge South American world. You can enjoy 1,024 square kilometers of exotic playground, from rainforest to desert, via snowy mountain peaks. You discover a plethora of wonders as you explore the world of Solus, from bustling cities to rural grasslands. And, when I saw a demo of this game in June, so we got to see a few different things happen. They showed where you got to use these little, almost like balloon type things. You could either soar around a bit yourself on planks of wood. You could have some cars fly up there and trucks and things like that and blow them up. There was also a mission I got to see go on where what happened is you're trying to stop the Black Hand, who is sending they're using these wind turbines to send a man-made tornado into this rural village to just pretty much decimate it. And your mission is to go and destroy their turbines and have the tornado go back to them in one of their air bases or something like that. So we got to see Rico's weapons in action, his different high-tech tools, and taking down the Black Hand, their bad guys and things like that. And this is, of course, the fourth game in the series. Like I said before, I wasn't really aware there was a series 1, 2, or 3. I just really didn't know that. And before I went to E3 this year, I hadn't really even heard of this series before. But I will say this. The graphics look really, really cool. The sunsets, the different weather changes are absolutely amazing. The land is really, an expansive map. There's a lot of different places you get to explore, a lot of different missions you get to go on. The Black Hand, as far as I saw in the demo, that it's definitely a, difficult adversary. It's not going to be an easy to beat or stop adversary. And Rico's going to have to, use all the tools he has at his disposal more just to take them down, right? Because it's basically this town, is kind of being taken over and, and kind of being at the mercy of this, organization. And Rico's like, no, I don't think so. I'm not okay with that. And he wants, stop them from the things they're doing, basically. And, yeah, like the tools he has at disposal, some of the tech is absolutely amazing. That grappling hook can do a lot of pretty impressive things. And there's just so much to see and do in this game. And sadly, all I just got to see was a glimpse. I didn't get to go really deep into it. And I'm not really sure if Rico has been in previous games or if he's just in this one. I'm not really sure. Square Enix is behind this game. It is. They are. So I want to say they've done previous games. Let me see if I can learn anything about the previous ones. Let's see here. Okay, so Just Cause 3. Let's look at this. So first let's see when Just Cause 3 came out. Let's see. Okay, it's going to have me do this. Fine. So let's see here, because I'm just curious, because so let's see here. When did this, so Bavarian Sea Heist. It looks like, as far as I can tell, Rico was not the bad guy in this one, as far as I can tell. Let's see here. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it was definitely a different story with a different character. Yeah. So, and let me see real quick if I can figure out when exactly the last game before this game came out. So let me research this real quick. Forgive me for 1 second. Yeah, because I'm just curious. I'm curious when it came out, because I know when this one comes out, which I'll get to in 1 second. Oops. Yeah, so let me just see here real quick. Give me 1 second, folks. Sorry for the delay here. So, okay. So 3 years ago, Just Cause 3 came out. And it looks like, actually, as far as I can tell, no, Rico was in the third game. He was the protagonist. But the world was about half as big as this one's going to be. So this one's world is going to be much bigger. And it definitely looks like it does take this series in brand new directions. Let's just be honest. 3 just couldn't do. And so if you're wondering, I will answer. So this comes out on PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, and of course Xbox One X and PlayStation 4 Pro. It comes out December 4th, 2018. So again, in just like a little under a month is when this game comes out. It is rated mature, so that means, kids and little ones probably shouldn't play it. But yeah, if you've played the previous games, which, like I said, I haven't, but if you have, you'll probably want to check this one out, and you'll probably have a lot of fun with it. It sounds like, as far as I can tell, this is going to be the best game in the series yet. And it's got a lot of violence, it's got a lot of action, and Rico, goes on his most difficult, most challenging mission yet. There are a few trailers and gameplay videos for this on YouTube, so you can check those out if you're curious for wanting to know more about the game and where it's going and things like that. This game you can pre-order this game already. Places like Best Buy and GameStop and things like that in Target. You can already pre-order it. I don't know if there's any special stuff that comes with that, but there probably is. So yeah, definitely check that out. And if I learn more about it, I'll definitely bring it to you guys. You can bet that. So that's all we have for this episode. I hope you learned some really cool things and had a lot of fun. I know I had a lot of fun bringing it to you. So we got to get going, but don't worry, we'll be back real soon with more technology news.